sustainable garden programs. And this is going to include some more information about funding. Ooh, how lovely. I went the wrong way. I'm going the right way now. Sustainability model for school garden programs. Step 1, indication of state of readiness. I like to call this enlightenment. Meeting with the school principal. So all these things have gone on already. Let's assume that. And then we've been talking with some teachers on the side. And there's an invitation to present to the school community. Now, it's really nice when you bring a little makana with you. Do you see what that is? What am I holding? Yeah. There's a reason for everything. Okay, sustainable school gardens. Woo! I do know how to go in the right direction, believe it or not. Okay, principal signs a sustainability agreement. So this is the goal. You get the principal to sign an agreement. And this is when you know that the teachers want it and everything else has been cultivated. And what they're agreeing to is a school garden committee. The committee will meet once a quarter. It should include 2 teachers, the PCNC if possible, PTSA if possible, a couple of student representatives, and you should always invite the custodian. Do not forget the custodian. It's the most important person at the school other than the principal, and then the FSM. You keep an annual calendar. That's what they're supposed to do for garden events. They assist in soliciting community support. Step 3, the school garden committee benefits begin in year 1. They get full funding from the Maui School Garden Network, and that funding includes 7 hours, say 8 hours a week of a garden coordinator. And they also get full funding for supplies and help with getting additional funding. Garden Network identifies internal and external support resources, opportunities, and remember, Kukua begins at home. Most schools don't realize that they have an amazing amount of talent and resources right within their own school. I spend a great deal of time networking within schools. SGC begins the 3-year sustainability process. It does not have to be a separate committee. Just join up with wellness. Join up with a committee that's already there. We're not there to waste time and add yet another committee. They don't have time for it. Then, next step, SGC benefits continue for year 2. But in year 2, we fund them fully for half a year, and they have to be prepared for the other half. They know that from year 1. Greater focus on expansion of long-term funding for infrastructure programs. So we're already looking at how are you going to fund this down the line. This is year 3, step 5. Year 3 with the school garden committee, the school will cover full funding for a PTT position, the school itself. This is where you start your PTT position. I'm going to tell you how you can enhance that, and program supplies. The school does that. Garden Network will continue to offer help from funding sources and supportive professional development with PD3 credits and resource identification. Reviewing the sustainability plan, you want to come back to that. Funding the school garden coordinator. Funding support, you've already heard about this and you've heard Danny talk about it with the PTT, but my suggestion is that when we first bring this garden coordinator on, let's also get the certification for substitute teaching. That benefits them, that benefits the school, that benefits the teachers. Funding then expands to PTT reimbursement from the school. Funding can then expand to include donation support for partial medical and other benefits that can be from the outside. So we have, MSGN operates as a vendor. We have vendor compliance. We're on the vendor list for DOE. That means we can add to the PTT, thus enhancing the long-term position of your school garden coordinator. That's what you're all looking for. These are some options for how to do that. Short of a $56,000 full-time position. Now, you may need to have a full-time position, but we're suggesting that could that possibly be a combination of your science and school garden coordinator, or science and technology, or some combination there where it's going to work for the school, but it's also going to work for longevity, which is what you're looking for. Ultimate goal is a full-time position, as it says at the bottom, DOE funding for garden science tech, or some combination that works for you, including maybe STEM as the other part of that. Creative funding support. Creative funding support, we have 17, and you're going to get this in the handout if you check it on that small white sheet. We have 17 different categories I want you to consider, and when you're looking at that, number 1, listen to this. This is the most important thing I'm going to say today. Has to do with money. The Maui School Garden Network is the only network in the state that is funded. Now we're talking about stream funding, not having to go out every year and da-da-da-da-da-da. We don't need to do that. We can't do that. We don't have the time. It is a line item on our county council's budget. We are a line item, folks. So we're hoping for $70,000 next year. And don't go, that's impossible on my island. It's not impossible. Start cultivating your county council members now. Okay, some other things are Rotary. Am I 1 minute yet? Okay, thank you. All right, so Rotary Club. Rotary Club loves to come in and offer their volunteer team once a quarter for the year. Get them signed up on your calendar beginning of the year. Get a second, like Canoe Club, to do the same thing, and you have your volunteers. You're not sitting there with somebody else who has to call for volunteers, beg, and blah, blah, blah. The other thing about volunteers, get it by grade level. Okay, this particular day in the garden when we're going to work with the weeds and everything else that needs to be done here, a weed whack or what have you, is going to be grades 1 and 2. People will come if it's their children. We all know that. You also know hardware stores. Hardware stores put a couple of donation boxes out. I have them at Pukalani L. I get $400 a year. All I do is come in and pick up the pennies and the dollars and write them a nice letter 4 times a year. You know, and that'll get me some couple of really good weed whackers. So, and finally, and remember I said there's 17 categories, so get the handout so that you can read some of my more detailed support for those. Green grants for schools. Kukua Hawai'i Foundation. Aina in the schools. I have a number of schools that received $1,000 because it was 4 teachers getting together with their idea. Very easy to complete for our teachers. This is about the easiest grant to get. Well, I don't know about you, but I'd love to put 4 of my teachers together for $1,000 coming from Aina in the schools, and I just write a nice little note if I need to. If the Aina folks don't know about this school or teachers yet, I just add a little comment to that. And now we are basically done. Thank you very much. I think we've given you a little bit more to go on. All right, bye.